Hello, everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Network. I am your host, Mark Murphy. Alongside me, I've got that beautiful wreck, Ryan Eric King, and we are here to party like it's 1903, Ryan. We're at the Milwaukee Mile for the Horizon IndyCar Series, 140 laps around this tricky, old, worn out, but very beautiful circuit.
Yeah, it can be difficult on occasion to pass around here, but we'll really see the drivers get put to the test today. You're going to have to use all the pedals at your feet today.
Yeah, you're going to have to use all the pedals at your feet, and you're going to have to use all of the buttons on the steering wheel for certain sure to get around this joint. Milwaukee is the oldest continuously operating racetrack in the United States. As we alluded, we're going to party like it's 1903 because this track was built in 1903. And for those of you keeping score, that is 6 years before the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, originally dirt and then paved in the 1960s. It's been home to some of the most legendary moments in IndyCar racing's long history. It's been a staple of the schedule, really, since the very beginning. Only within the last couple of decades has Milwaukee fallen away. It went back on the schedule this year. Both Ryan Eric King and I were at that event, and it was a dandy of a weekend. Glad to see it back on the schedule for next year. It is a very unique track in that it is right in the middle of a neighborhood. So it shares that with Indianapolis, but right behind that main grandstand, Ryan, that's the fairgrounds and probably the biggest beer garden you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, it kind of harkens back to an age where a lot of the places IndyCar raced at were state fairgrounds.
Yeah, it does. This track originally a horse track. And that's what most IndyCar tracks were. That's what most racetracks were 1 mile horse tracks. This grew out of being a 1 mile horse track. And there are stables. You can see them in the background. There are stables, livestock pens, because this is where the state fair is held. And if you buy a ticket to the Milwaukee Mile, you get a complimentary ticket to the state fair. And so that's an interesting perk. We do have qualifications going on here at the moment right now. Nate Fields, 162.934. He's got the quick lap. Only 7 cars now taking time. There are 20 automobiles signed in tonight, Ryan. So you know what that's going to mean, don't you?
It's a lot of cars from Milwaukee, but maybe it should be a clean race.
Well, we're hoping for a clean race, but that's going to mean traffic. Now, Matty Wagner has said his goal here was to have 2 lanes of racing, and we'll see if that happens. Milwaukee does have a viable high line, or if you can make it work. It does have a viable middle if you can make it work, and it does have a very viable bottom if you've got the car set up to do it. So we'll see if that setup was successful. Meanwhile, the heavy hitters are starting to come out on the track. You've got Craig Forsyth, Kyle Clinworth, others on the speedway, and let's go ahead and take a look at Clindy. No, that's Craig Forsyth rather. He's slowing down. Clinworth has already made his laps. Here's Eric Peterson. You see him now. The drivers really don't want to get, when we say the bottom, what we're really meaning here, Ryan, is not on that asphalt patch. You want to stay a little bit above that, at least in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, especially you don't want to run too close to the bottom line because the radius around the corners aren't actually consistent.
No, and turns 1 and 2 are very different than turns 3 and 4. 1 and 2, if you look at it from above, you're going to see that. If you look at it from above, and when the camera pans around there, you'll see the pit exit lane in turn 1 and 2. There's a curb down there. That curbing is not present in turns 3 and 4. So you can run the bottom in 1 and 2 a little bit better than you can 3 and 4 just by virtue of that curb. You'll see these guys shoot down toward the curb. They're going to want to hit that a little bit sometimes, depending on the handling of the automobile. And that will actually de-wedge the car and make it turn. And there's a line that you can run and play a little bit of carom pool with that with that curbing, and so we're going to watch for that as the race goes on. Meanwhile, we are done with qualifying, and you know what that means, Ryan?
Yeah, time to grid up.
100%. That means Murph gets to play with music on the pole. Nate Fields, he turns in a lap at 162.933. Frank Wynn is going to beat his outside. Row 2, Alex Miller and Hugo Gallas. Row 3, Josh Ward, Nick Wheeler, Craig Forsyth, and Matt Wagner are going to make up row 4. Lith Fox and Gary Lovern are going to round out your top 10. In 11th, Andrew Surowiak. 12th, Walter Macias. Eric Peterson, he'll start 13th. Clindy, I don't know if he had a bad second lap, or if he tapped the wall and he got thrown out or what, but Kyle Clinworth, uncharacteristically, he's going to start 14th. And Paula, I hate to say it, but this is not the easiest place to pass. So we're gonna keep an eye out on Clindy here. He's going to go from 14th. Brian Greenlee makes his return to racing. Matty Wagner's got his pedals sorted out. Greenlee's going to start 15th. Mason Mitchum is going to go 16th. Sheridan Wade 17th. Jeff Heisong, Matthias Marcamini, and Isaac Morales did not set a time. 20 cars signed in for tonight's event. This is going to be fun, Ryan.
It's going to be real fun, especially to see what Kyle does to try to fight his way through the field.
Yeah, we've got some fast guys that are not starting up front. You've got one right there. That's Craig Forsyth. He's starting 7th. Nick Wheeler, we saw him up front last night in the Area 51 event. He's in 6th. Matt Wagner, he won last night in Area 51. He's going 8th. The aforementioned Clindy, and Clindy is all the way back here. And here's the view out of his right eyeball. That's a lot of automobiles that are ahead of him. So, but no, good field for sure. Strength of field here, right about $3,000. So that's pretty good for a league race. Watching these guys flow away. Of course, Walter Macias, you see there in the Paul Tracy Cool Machine. Just to his inside is Eric Peterson. Clindy and Brian Greenlee are behind him.
Hang on, we're not going green. Not going green.
Now they have, you heard it there. They've extended the yellow by a lap. I think that's probably a good idea. Probably a good idea there, Rec. Just to make sure that everybody gets a chance to form up.
Yeah, because you don't want to be stuck in a position where you're trapped behind one guy who didn't pull up to the car in front, and next thing you know, you're starting the race half a lap down.
Yeah, and there's the view from the back of the pace car. It is it's always interesting to look off the back and see the snarling herd coming behind you. We're going to get the green this time by, but that's an awesome shot for sure.
Oh, without a doubt.
Looking off of Alex Miller, there's what he sees out the front of his machine. It's always good to, and yeah, Paula, I hope everybody goes fast and has fun. We're looking forward to a fun one. And this could be, if there's not cautions here, Ryan, this could be pretty quick. I'd anticipate a 2-stopper, 40 to 50 laps on fuel, is what I'm guessing. But this could be a quick one.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same camp as you. After we get the opening laps and people start settling in, we're gonna, just run the distance to the first pit sequence and see how things shake out.
100%. Barney's got the green flag in the air. Nate Fields hits the loud pedal, and he's going to lead them away from Frank Wynn and Alex Miller. We are green in Milwaukee. Everybody safely through turn number 1 down the backstretch. They're already starting to get single file. Notably, Josh Ward looking to the inside of Hugo Galez. Hugo takes it way up the track though and pulls right up on the rear of Frank Wynn. He thinks better of it. Ward going to sneak by into 4th, move Galez to 5th. Craig Forsyth picked up a spot there. He is 6th. Nick Wheeler is already 7th.
Yeah, it's seemingly everyone has that one ideal line they want to put themselves on. They don't want to test out the second line unless they absolutely have to.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit for that to get rubbered in. You want to make sure, that there's some rubber down on the track before you go up there. Otherwise, you're gonna hit that. You're not gonna have any grip. Going to go ahead and get the leaderboard up here for our fans, and we're going to go check in on Kyle Clinworth. There you see, out of his right eyeball, Clindy, he's to 12th. He's making some moves. Nate Fields turns the purple lap, but he's kind of forced down there to the not preferred line on the black asphalt. That's not really where you want to be to make speed. You can make up time into the corner down there, but it's very difficult to get off, Ryan.
Yeah, and especially, it also wears your tires a lot. Like, I'm wondering how long he's going to be able to maintain this pace.
There he is. He's working on Andrew Surwack. That's 11th and 12th. Clindy's going to draw it even coming off the corner. But the outside just so strong coming down the straightaway. He's going to keep it even Steven here. Let's see if he can get the move done going into 3. He drove it up the track just a little bit to get a better angle there. He's going to not quite be ahead of Surwack. He'll give it one more go down into turn number 1 and 2. Unfortunately for him, Matty Wagner's wanting to run that bottom in front of him, and that's going to give the dirty air to Clindy. Surwack going to hold off the charge for now.
And that's kind of the algebra you have to play, so to speak, where you have to look for that clean air. And if someone 2 or 3 cars ahead decides to take a different line, it could be you in their wash.
Yeah, it most certainly can. And you look at Matt Wagner here. We're gonna go to Matty Wags, kind of jump on board with the 6 machine. And the reason I want to do that is just to kind of show our fans at home. That's out of his left eyeball, but what I want to show the fans at home is the different lines that these guys are running. You'll see Wagner. He's very conventional. He's going down to 4th gear, not quite down to that rumble strip. Clindy, if you noticed, he was taking a much more shallow angle. Ryan.
Yeah, where that's a line that I kind of tend to at Milwaukee, where you sort of attack the entry because you could get a lot of time on someone ahead of you doing that. But again, like I mentioned, it can overheat your tires.
Yeah, it can. And the real life races here, they turned into tire derbies, which is very odd for an IndyCar race. You don't see that very often. Firestone, of course, noted for building very durable, high-performance tires. But the ones that they brought to Milwaukee last year, they wore out, and there was a lot of tire strategy, not necessarily fuel, but tires. And it made the second race, especially on Sunday, Ryan, at least for me, pretty doggone interesting.
Yeah, because it came down to how well drivers could manage their tires and how well they could deal with worn tires. Because if you could keep speed later in runs when you and everyone out around you has less grip, that's an opportunity to gain positions.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. We're watching Craig Forsyth. We're going to go back one spot. Do want to check out the battle for 7th. That's Gary Lovern and Lith Fox. Gary Lovern is in 8th. He wants 7th from Lith Fox. Down on that curve, I was talking about that. You can do that to help the car turn, but you got to be careful. It'll turn you loose. He was awfully close to being in the danger zone. What happens is that curb over there is raised, and if you get too far on it, you can actually smack the under tray on the curb, and then you're driving a surfboard, Ryan.
You don't want to be driving a surfboard.
You do not want to be driving a surfboard. You want to kind of, there you go. You want to kind of barely cut it. Glad to see Will Stearns in the chat. We're also bummed you couldn't make it, Will, but thank you so much for the compliments, and we'll see you. I'm sure we'll see you in the next round. Speaking of Horizon IndyCar Series rounds, this remains just about the best battle on the track. Clindy has gotten around Matt Wagner, so he is in the top 10. Speaking of Horizon IndyCar rounds, we are more or less halfway through the season. This is race 6. We do have next week off, but then they go to one of my favorite tracks in the service. We're going to have a week off. March 19th, they're going to be at Twin Ring Motegi for a 125 lapper. Then Kentucky Speedway the next week off, and then Iowa. So we've got 3 unique tracks coming up. And actually, it would be really 5 or 6 unique tracks in a row. Well, 7, if you count Gateway. They haven't had a repeater or the same kind of a track, really. Homestead's a fairly typical oval, and Auto Club is identical to Michigan in most respects. But we've had, honestly, a really diverse set of ovals here, Ryan.
Yeah, and it really shows, it really gives the drivers an opportunity to pick a round where they know they'll be good at, and a chance for them to have a big points day. Because, like we're seeing so far today, Kyle Clenworth, it's been dominant the last couple rounds, but one bad qualifying session, and he's in the middle of the field.
Yeah, I mean, and speak of dominant, Kyle Clenworth, you see the points there, 3 wins and a second for Clindy, 231. Second place is the second place runner, Alexander Miller. He's on 158, so a massive points lead for Clindy. Matt Wagner third, Craig Forsyth fourth, Josh Ward is fifth in the points. He's the defending Wednesday night champ over from the Votive Series that now runs on Sundays, and so pretty excited announcement that came out of the Votive Indy Derby that we showed on Sunday, where the Dark Horse League, the Dark Horse CW12 League, and the Votive Series, they're going to cooperate. They're going to run alternate weeks. Ryan, I don't know if you saw that or not, but that's pretty exciting news for the channel. We're going to have a race here every Sunday night once the current Votive season ends, and that'll be roughly starting in May. But a lot of racing on Sunday nights that'll happen, and that's exciting. That's exciting for all of us. It's 2 different leagues, but it's going to be the same night, same time, same bad channel. How about that, Ryan?
That is definitely interesting. Like, I'd love to see if there are any drivers out there that'd love to fence hop, so to speak, and race in both leagues.
I'm going to, because Gary, I think, is going to call it. So I'll be in the Indy Alliance 69 on both nights. We'll get the DW12 out of. We'll get the DW12 out of its cover and out of wraps and get it going. Watching Nate Fields, he is just hammering this field. He's got a 0.6 of a second lead over Alex Miller, and he's pulled out about a second, 1.2, 1.3 seconds over Frank Wynn, depending on where they are, and probably could be a good time to kind of go through the field, Ryan, already. We're 23 laps into 140 lapper. We think, Ryan, they can do 40 to 50 laps on fuel. Is that about what we're thinking?
Yeah, that's where I would estimate they could do.
It's a short tank. I did take some laps earlier. If memory serves, the fuel for this thing is like, 13 gallons that they're allotted?
Yep.
And then do they have tire set limits or no?
I don't believe there are tire set limits.
No tire set limits. Okay, so let's take a look at everybody that we've got here in the lead. You've got Nate Fields. He started on the pole. He is currently your leader. So there's Nate Fields driving around in the number 70. Right behind him, you've got Alex Miller. Alex is currently second. He started third. Got the drop on Frank Wynn at the start, and he's been up there. He's been up there in second for most of the run thus far. Frank Wynn, the aforementioned second place starter, is third, and there's Frank. Josh Ward, he has also made up a spot. He is currently fourth, and then Hugo Gallas. Good to see Hugo giving it a good ride. He's fifth in the Velocity Online Racing entry, and behind him, you've got Craig Forsyth, the familiar 40 racewear Forsyth livery for Craig. He's also made up a spot. Gary Lovern in a second Velocity Online Racing entry. He is seventh. Lith Fox is eighth. Nick Wheeler is ninth, and I have a feeling Kyle Clenworth is about to be ninth, Ryan.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. We have a couple battles throughout the field that are definitely going to keep us on our toes for the entire distance.
Yeah, we're watching this one. This rounds out your top 10. We're going to stick with this for a minute. It is the best race on the track. I don't want to go away from the fact that Alex Miller has closed the gap that Nate Fields built, and Alex is right on the gearbox of the leader. And so don't want to lose sight of the battle between Fields and Miller up at the front. Clindy, though, he's got a chance here to get 2 for the price of 1, because Lith Fox, I think, is holding up Wheeler a little bit, and Wheeler is likewise holding up Clindy. And so we're going to see if Clindy can make short work. I bet if he gets by Wheeler, he's going to be by Fox here pretty quick.
Yeah, it's kind of you have to take advantage of a run when you can. And while it might not be a literal run, when you're hot, and if you pass one car, you can usually pass another.
Yeah, you get the momentum going. There goes Clinworth down. He's got the bottom line, and he's gonna slide up in front of Wheeler. Contact!
Hold it!
They held it. They did hold it, but Nick Wheeler is missing a front wing.
Oh, and Clenworth's going to pit in as well?
Yeah, that's... I wouldn't be surprised if he's got wheel damage, which is iRacing code for, hey, you need to pull in here, you've got a flat. We're going to go back and watch this.
Well, he has... On my feed, he has rear wing damage.
Well, that could be 2. That could be 2. You see it here. Wheeler gets really high up next to the wall. I don't know if he hits it, but if he doesn't, he gets awfully doggone close. Clindy's going to come off the corner. Not there, so it's going to be the next corner through. And that'll give me a chance to get in the chopper. So Clinworth on the bottom, Wheeler on the top. And we're just waiting for the corner exit, because that's where it's all going to go awry for these two. Wheeler gets a huge run on Clindy. I think Clindy tried to clear him. There's the damage to Wheeler's front wing. And yeah, you can kind of see the scuff on the rear wing for Clinworth. He is back out on the speedway, but he's 2 laps down. Nick Wheeler has lost 1 lap. Sheridan Wade also 2 laps down. Wade has also made a pit stop, or is on pit lane. Now this may not hurt Clindy. It's in the pit window. You don't want to necessarily stop this early, but it may not hurt him as much as you might think. If this thing plays out through one cycle, it might actually wind up being to his benefit just as a short pit.
Yeah, because he might be able to overcut a bunch of the front runners. It depends on how the people still out in track, their stints play out, but it's an opportunity from the gain positions that he didn't intend to.
Yeah, you got to treat it as an opportunity. Wheeler, he only lost 1 lap in that exchange. So there's Nick Wheeler. He is 16th. Clinworth 17th. Sheridan Wade was in his pit box 8.1 seconds. And so he is back on the speedway, but he is 2 laps down. Clindy, though, severe. I mean, that's not a light touch. He was in his box 24.9 seconds. So that's a new rear wing for the driver of the 11. But Paula, he's not out of it yet. Everything will be all right. Get a pit cycle through. He should filter right back to where he was. Going back to the lead, Alex Miller does lead it in the 49. Frank Wynn still second. Josh Ward has moved to third around Nate Fields, who has fallen to the 4th position. And I got to wonder if there's some fuel saving going on, or if Fields has cooked the tires on that car.
Ooh, let me just scrub through the footage real quick, because it doesn't seem like he was involved in any incidents. I think his tires are just falling off.
That could be, and depending on what the settings are, you can, some of these guys might like to drive the car a little bit loose. Well, when you do that, it's going to heat the right rear tire up, and then it's driving on ice. If you get that thing too hot, all you can do is just slow down for a while until it cools back off. Speaking of cooled off, speaking of heating up and cooled off, we've got a hot streak going here at the P1 Broadcasting Network. 815 subscribers as of the opening of the broadcast, Ryan. YouTube analytics tell us that about half the people that are watching do not subscribe to the channel. So easiest and best way you can support the competitors, support the channel, hit the like button on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel. We surely do appreciate it. There is also a GoFundMe link in the description if you wanted to contribute that way as well. But the biggest thing that you can do to help the series, help the guys that are running it, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel and get us to 1,000. We definitely do appreciate it. We are working lap 42 of 140. Alex Miller leads it from the man we're watching right here. That's Frank Wynn. Miller has gone up almost a second. So, Ryan, it wasn't just that he made that move. He's pulled away here.
Yeah, it is a display of pace. It is.
It is. The other thing that kind of surprises me here, looking at the lap times, you would think that maybe that Clinworth coming in, getting those fresh tires, would help him in terms of pace. Not so. His last time through, 22.614 to 22.537 for the leader, Alex Miller. And that begs the question, might our championship leader have some damage to the diffuser where he just can't get that fixed?
It's either that or he is trying to maintain his pace because he knows this middle stint is going to be long for him to maintain that typical two-stop strategy.
Yeah, that's a good call. The 18 cars that we had 20 sign in the lobby. We've got 18 on the track and 18 take the start. We are 46 laps into the current run here. Walter Macias has brought it down pit lane. Josh Ward also entering the pits. So I think we're just about at the point where we're going to start seeing people stop. There comes Frank Wynn.
Yeah.
All eyes on Alex Miller here. He's pulled away. Now, no surprise, the man in second, no surprise to this broadcaster that the man in second is still out on fuel, although Forsyth is going to bring it to the attention of his pit crew, so he'll stop 40 with 48 laps complete in the run. That'll continue to let Alex Miller lead it. Gary Lovren, Hugo Galez, Matt Wagner, they are the only cars left to stop. Eric Peterson has just hit pit road, and I assume we're probably Mason Mitchum has stopped. So,
yeah, just raise the question: when is Alex Miller coming in?
Yeah, I mean, was he running around full? Was he running around with everything turned down at the beginning, just saving some fuel and kind of hanging out, or was he? I mean, he had to have been, because he's now gone 50 laps, and that was at the outer edge of what I thought they could do, would be about 50. So he had to have been saving his stuff early and turned it up late, Ryan.
And you'd have to be correct because nearly everyone else is coming to pit.
Yep.
And you say that, here comes Alex Miller.
Here he comes. Alex Miller onto the pit lane in the Taylor Mills Racing entry, the TMR car. Green, black, very, very striking car. Reminds me a little bit of the Indy Alliance car, Rashad Craig, you see, with the black and the lime green paint. Very eye-catching. You cannot miss the car for Alex Miller out there on the track. Great pit stop, 8.3 seconds in the box. He's going to come back out, and he is going to be second. Now, the car that is the leader, that's Mason Mitchum, he was a lap down. He is now the leader, but he is going to have to stop imminently because he's been out for 51 laps. So unless he was coasting around the track, he's got to be on fumes, Ryan.
Yeah, this is temporary. There's no way this is sustainable.
No, it's not. And at this point, Mason Mitchum, I think he's hoping for a caution, just so that he's hoping for a caution, but that's not going to come. So Mitchum, he's going to bring it to the attention of his crew. That's going to give the lead back to Alex Miller in the number 49 machine. Josh Ward is second, and Ward made up a ton of time in that exchange. Alex Miller, if you recall, had about a second and a half lead by the time the pit cycle started. My man Ryan,
Yeah.
Josh Ward's caught him, and Frank Wynn's caught him too.
Yeah, maybe running long wasn't the best strategy. because while your car is very light at the end of a run, your tires are practically spent. It isn't worth it most of the time.
Well, it can be worth it in the scenario where you've got a big enough lead that it really doesn't matter if the people behind you get 3 or 4 laps where they're a couple of tenths quicker, because you're still going to come out of the lead. The advantage for Alex Miller is going to be late in the race. He's going to have a much shorter pit stop than Josh Ward. Josh Ward stopped 5 laps sooner, win 4 laps, Forsythe 3 laps. Once you get to 11 gallons of fuel, the additional fuel is time. And so if you're able to cut that last stop shorter, that's going to help you out in terms of time on pit road in that last stop. And it could ultimately seal the deal. The other thing is, Ryan, and you know this, my man, lighter fuel, you burn the tires up less. What was it, Blocker? I think Adam Blocker was in here and told us that every gallon of ethanol weighs 6 to 7 pounds. So,
yep.
Yeah. So if you're able to save a couple of gallons, not only do you gain some time on pit road, but your car's 12 to 14 pounds lighter. That's a huge advantage.
Yeah, it definitely opens up a ton of, strategic options at the end of the race. Having that kind of flexibility to not only deciding exactly when to pit, because you could pit later than everyone else, but also deciding how much fuel you want to take during that last stop.
For certain, sure. Watching the leaders here, Miller goes through, then Ward. There's Wynn. You see Forsythe in the background. And give a shout out to the Velocity Online guys, Gary Lover and Hugo Galez. They're running 5th and 6th. That's a great day at the office for those cars. Do want to kind of continue to move through the field if we can. Some cars that we haven't talked about today. There's Matt Wagner. He's running along in the PPG entry. He took that car to victory lane in the Area 51 race last night, so he's decided to keep the Joseph Newgarden look on the number 6. But he's currently 8th. He's made up quite a bit. Well, no, he started 8th. I thought he would have made up more time than that. It seems like he started further back than that, doesn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, it feels like he started further back, but I guess not.
Feeling or not, Matty Wagner currently runs along in 8th. Andrew Surawak is in 9th, and there's a good look at Andrew. Nate Fields is 10th. We've talked about Nate. The 47 of Lith Fox we have not talked about. Lith runs along in 7th, so there's Lith Fox. Good looking teal and white machine there. Walter Macias. Now there's a paint scheme that I like right there. That's the old school Paul Tracy Team Cool machine for Walter Macias, and we'll get a better look at that thing. There's Walter. We haven't seen the likes of that since 2002. It's a cool looking car though.
Yeah.
Jeff Hysong, he runs along 13th. He started shotgun on the field. So Hysong maintains his position on the lead lap. He is the last car on the lead lap. Clindy is the first car 1 lap down, as is Mason Mitchum. Wheeler has made his way back onto the lead lap, but he is, at this point, very close to going back a lap down. That would leave us with Sheridan Wade as the only car that we haven't covered tonight. Sheridan 16th, 1 lap off the pace, and he's about to go 2 down because those are the leaders behind him. So that would be Sheridan Wade. Eric Peterson has pulled it in 2 minutes, 40 seconds on pit lane. Brian Greenlee, so he's now 8 laps now. Brian Greenlee has punched out of the number 38 machine. He will finish, should be credited with 18th on the day. Back to the front. Alex Miller leads it from Josh Ward and Frank Wynn. Craig Forsythe 4th. There's some decent separation between those cars. And then back to Gary Lover and Hugo Gallows 5th and 6th. So we've got to that point in the race now where we're just clicking off laps by By my watch, we've been at this 30 minutes, and we're closing in on halfway, brother.
Yeah, it's like you said, clicking off laps. You're seeing where your pace is going to put you, where you're going to think about where you think the stint's going to end and come in and make that final stop. Because after that point, it is flat out.
Yeah, I mean, we would expect these guys in right around lap 100. Would be the thing that I would be the thing that I would expect, and so lap 100 would be about right, and that would carry these drivers all the way to the end. Of course, we know Alex Miller, he's probably going to stay out a little bit longer as he did before, and that's going to be to his advantage for that final run. But is any sort of undercut going to be effective for Josh Ward, Frank Wynn? They did make up over a second by stopping 4 to 5 laps earlier in this race. And now that we've got halfway, Ryan, we get to do my favorite thing. We get to go from laps completed to laps to go. You see the change on the scoring pylon. It's going to go from 71 to 70, and we are halfway done here at the Milwaukee Mile.
Yeah, and you mentioned the undercut. I think it'll play out differently with it being the stop to the finish, because obviously the time in the box is going to be a lot shorter, so there's going to be less of a window to try to jump someone.
Well, and it's not only that, but it's going to be a gamble as to when you pit anyway. You're going to be slightly faster and make up some time if you come in early, Ryan, but you're putting yourself in a position where, if an untimely yellow comes out, you could be trapped 2 laps down. So there is that bit as well. You do lose 2 laps pitting under green here. And so, I'd bet you a shiny new dime that Alex Miller is probably not going to be the first one on pit lane. But it's almost assured that he's going to have to cover off Ward whenever Ward comes in.
Yeah, you're gonna have to cover off whoever's around you on track.
Right, and so when that needle gets to 50 to go, that'll be inside the window. Kyle Clinworth, he last stopped 41 laps ago, and so that may be why Clindy's, he's kind of a little bit slower. I think he's got to save some fuel just to make this on one more stop. He is back 1 lap down. We'll show Clindy here. He's back to 1 lap down, and he is among the leaders. That's Craig Forsyth right in front of him. So he's running along in track position in the top 5, but he is stuck a lap down, and he's got to make it. Boy, he's got to make it another. He's got to make it another 13 or 14 laps just to have a chance to get it to the end here.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. It's going to be really rough.
Yeah, so Clindy clearly just in damage control mode again. I'll throw the points back up here. People say, well, you shouldn't think about points. It's only, halfway through a 12 race season. If you don't, you're not getting a mulligan in this deal. So, one bad finish, a win from Alex, a bad finish for Clindy, 13th, 14th, 12th, something like that, and a win for Alex Miller. And that's going to go from a 73-point advantage probably down to, it's probably going to get cut in half.
Oh, yeah. And obviously they're the upcoming races to try to make that gap up, but you're kind of hedging your bets on being able to immediately return to the front of the field, which, like today, not guaranteed.
No. Alex Miller working his way through traffic. He just put a lap on Walter Macias. So Macias in 12th goes to a lap down. Josh Ward will dive underneath as well. And then the next car on the hit parade up there for the leader is going to be Nick Wheeler in 11th, and that's the spec you see off of the front of Alex Miller's TMR machine. That's I can't talk. That's Nick Wheeler up in the distance in the Votive Racing League car, looking to put him a lap down. So we talked about, Ryan, you and I both went to this race last year, the real life version. Did you go to both days or did you just go to Sunday? Wheeler coming in the pit lane.
Both days. Oh, yeah, Wheeler coming in. Yeah, I was there, all 3 days. I was there for practice, qualifying on Friday, and Saturday and Sunday for both races.
Yeah, so we drove in Saturday. We drove in late. We drove in Friday night, and then we drove in Friday night, and then went to the track Saturday. If you are in the Midwest and you want to see a classic IndyCar race at a classic track, come to Milwaukee. It was a really cool experience. We mentioned at the top of the show, the track is in the neighborhood. And it's in the neighborhood. It's on the fairgrounds. There's a midway. They do open the fairgrounds beer gardens during the race, and it's very much a party atmosphere. I told my dad, if you had that kind of a setup on Georgetown Road in Indianapolis, boy, you'd have a license to print money.
Yeah, I like, not to jump too far off topic, but I'm surprised we don't see anything like that at IMS, especially in today's day and age where you have every sports franchise in the country wanting a ballpark village at their stadium or something similar where people are just there year round to do something.
I think maybe with Georgetown Road being closed off now, IMS may have the opportunity to do something like that, where they can really kind of develop the other side of that from the Legion North at least. They may have the opportunity to do that because they own all that ground now. We're watching Alex Miller lead Josh Ward. Somebody out there, Albs 482 asked for the schedule. It is in the description, but I will read it off for you. Right now we are at Milwaukee, just race 6, so this is the halfway point of the season, the mid-post, if you will. Twin Ring Motegi is March the 19th. Kentucky Speedway, March 26th. You've got the Oval at Iowa on April 8th. We're going to go to Atlanta on April 16th, but not the new one. So we're going to go to the Legacy setup at Atlanta, so the old, worn-out, the tires get burned up going down pit road Atlanta. That's going to be a ton of fun. April 30th will be at Nashville, and May 7th is the finale right here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. Ryan Eric King will bring it to you 100 laps at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to end the season. And it is in the schedule. It is in the description as well. Would love to thank everybody for coming out tonight and watching the race. We've got 52 to go here. Watching Alex Miller lead Josh Ward and Frank Wynn. The nearest battle on the track is going to be Matt Wagner. He is 7th. He's looking at Lith Fox here for 6th. You've got Hugo Gallas and Josh Ward, it appears, coming off. No, it wasn't Ward. And Macias coming off of pit road, excuse me. But this is really the only close battle for position on the track, Ryan.
Yeah, where the race is sort of naturally spread out just simply because we haven't had any cautions tonight. And I know saying that has probably jinxed that entire scenario.
Yeah, you better find some wood to knock on. And if you don't knock on wood, knock on the side of your head, my friend, because we've had 90 straight laps of green flag action, and we're getting close to that second pit stop cycle. Some of these guys, of course, have already brought it down pit lane, but if you're, Nate Fields, he kind of kicked off that early sequence. Nate Fields is going to be looking your early leader. He's going to be looking to hit pit road basically any time. The window is open for business on pit road, but you got to think, some of these guys are going to want to run it long. Alex Miller has pulled more than a second ahead of Josh Ward right now. Craig Forsyth has gotten around Frank Wynn, who has come to pit road, and so Frank Wynn is going to pit for 3rd. That's going to promote Forsyth to the podium position. But wholesale pit stops, and Matty Wagner is going to get under Lith Fox, and let's see if Wagner can get that position on Fox here.
Josh Ward is just coming.
Yeah, Ward coming in. So no surprise really to see Forsyth run long. It's kind of his mo. Fox is going to come to the pit lane, so that's going to leave Wagner all alone. Here's Forsyth. Kind of been a very quiet night, and we haven't talked about Craig that much, but he's been quietly consistent in that top 10. And here he comes. We'll cover the pit stop for the Forsyth machine. 46 laps to go, and that's right in line with what he did last time, Ryan.
Yeah, everything's going to plan for him. It's and I have to keep reminding myself how late Alex Miller came in, because we're probably going to see Miller go, 10 more laps, 20 more laps?
He went 50. He's been out 40. He's been out 46. The server just glitched, and we appreciate everybody's patience with that. 40. He went. He came in 45 laps ago, so that means he would have gone 50.
Okay.
He went right at 50. So he may be going to the 40 to go mark, run 50, 50, 40, which would allow him to take that shorter stop and put in less fuel. And he's not going to make a liar out of me. He's going to go one more. Hugo Gallas has pitted from second. So Hugo has come in, and that leaves Alex Miller as the only car that has not yet stopped.
Yeah, the race is effectively in his hands.
It is, and the other thing that you want to kind of look at is is this man Josh Ward, who's on the fresh tires, is he any faster? His last lap, the last time through for Alex Miller, 22.283. Josh Ward is a lap down. He did not lose the full 2. He passes through the through the start finish line 22.479. So Alex Miller is not only on the old tires, he's the fastest car on the track.
Oh, Miller is in.
Yeah, there he is. So 42 to go. We're going to cover the stop for the leader. Here comes Alex Miller. Do want to thank Dirty Quai for stopping by. Big fan of Lith Fox. He says go Zoomies. So good to have you in here, Quai. Definitely appreciate that. Alex Miller up on the jacks. He's going to launch it away, and let's see, because here comes Josh Ward. There goes Surwack. He's going to have it. He's going to have it handsome, Ryan.
Oh. Yeah, Miller's in a position where he just needs to bring it home.
Now, you can't do that. You saw the car slide way up the track in 3 and 4. It takes a couple of laps for these tires to get hot. So you want to kind of tiptoe around here for a couple, just to get everything warmed up and moving in the right direction. Of course, he's going to have a huge handling advantage over Josh Ward as well. He went 6 laps longer. Do want to point out that we have lapped everybody up to Andrew Surwack, who is 9th. So Fields in 10th, Mitchum 11th, Clenworth 12th, Wheeler 13th, Macias 14th, Sheridan Wade 15th. They are all 1 lap down. Mitchum still has to stop. So when he does that, it will be 1 more lap for Clindy. The question for Clindy is, can he make it 58 laps on a tank of gas? He's going to need a yellow for that to happen. Which I don't think he'd mind a yellow, because he wants to get himself in position to be the lucky dog. The problem with that is that this man, Alex Miller, keeps lapping more cars.
Yeah, and if he keeps lapping more cars, well, only one guy's getting the lucky dog tonight.
Well, and the other thing is, you could get the wave around, and that's always the possibility. The issue with that, Ryan, is at this point, I don't know that Alex Miller would pit. Tire degradation did not seem to be a thing for him.
Yeah, Miller has no reason to pit. Based on his pace tonight, even in a straight-up fight with any of the other front runners, it doesn't seem like they really have the pace to threaten him.
No, I mean, the Josh Ward had come out about 1.3 seconds behind him. Miller has consistently drawn away about 0.2 of a second a lap, and so he's gonna be good just going away here. Meanwhile, we've got a battle for 6th. Here's Wagner. He's going to take a dive on Hugo. Hugo Galez going down into turn number 3. Can't quite get the move done. He does have the dirty air though from the lap car of Walter Macias, the 2 lap cars of Macias and Mitchum there in front. Watching now, and how frustrating is that, Ryan? He went to run the high line, figuring the lap cars were going to go low, and the 2 lap cars went high to let Hugo by, and poor Matt just faced a wall of dirty air there.
Yeah, it's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. You think you're taking the smart line to get around some lap cars, but they're overthinking things and trying to let you through.
Yeah, I mean the rule is hey, you want to just I tell people this all the time, if you're going to get lapped, just hold where you're at, right? I'll figure out how to get around you, because you're right. I mean, Wagner sent that car up on the high side. He was gonna drive around all of them, and then they pulled high, and he had all the downforce taken away. Tell you what, do have a very special guest in the chat. That's George Anzaldo, the Sim Gaming Expo founder, creator, Lionheart founder and admin. It's good to see George, and it's good to have him in the channel. So, hello George, and hello out there. I hope everything's going well, and we look forward to seeing you some more. We've got the race control admin in the booth. That's or in the chat. That's Shane Coker, and so. He's had a pretty easy job tonight, hasn't he, Ryan?
Yeah, we've gone over 110 laps, no cautions. It feels strange,
but it feels good. A long green flag, 110 lap green flag run on a short oval. That's nothing to sneeze at, and it's been pretty cool to watch. Clindy has pulled up behind Nate Fields. Now, I know these cars are a lap down, but this is one that you might want to watch. Championship implications for Clinworth. If he can get back in the top 10, he just continues to limit the damage that was caused by his contact with Nick Wheeler.
Yeah, and it's something that we've learned many a time in real life from Scott Dixon. You win championships on your worst day.
Yeah, you do. I've been in those shoes myself, where, the fact that you saved, the fact that you salvaged, a 10th on a day where you didn't have a good day, and it comes down to the end of the deal, and it comes down to the end of the deal, and there's only a couple of points in it. The fact that you didn't pull over and give up, 6 weeks ago, that looms large.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm guessing, by the time we're halfway through the year, by the time we reach the end, Clinworth will still be in the championship picture, hopefully, and this might be one of the defining moments of his season.
Yeah. I mean, it can be. So definitely a championship moment here for Clinworth. If he can get that car back up into the top 10, I don't know if he's got enough time to catch Andrew Surwack, but this is the best battle for position on the speedway. And it's Kyle Clinworth trying to hunt down Nate Fields for 10th. And Nate Fields is the car right there in front of Clindy. It's just about 0.4 of a second up the road. I can't imagine, George. 17 cautions at a track like this. I think we had a fixed top split. It was either here or it was at Richmond, where we ran more than half the race under yellow. But mercifully, those were only 80 laps back in the day. So mercifully,
I believe it was Richmond, because I think I was in that race.
I think you and I probably caused at least one of. I think you and I caused at least one of those cautions. Clinworth does get around Nate Fields, so move Clindy to 10th. Fields to 11th. Walter Macias has also gotten by Nick Wheeler. Nick Wheeler is on the pit lane, and this is kind of the thing for Wheels. He had to make an extra stop, right? The contact with Clinworth. He had to pit and get a new front wing, and it was outside the window, unfortunately. So Wheeler is going to have to make an extra stop. And now you got to wonder, Clindy's been out there 36 laps. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a mathematician. I only went to Ball State. But if he's got 37 laps on that tank and he's got essentially 20 to go, that math don't work, Ryan.
Yeah, it does not work at all. You're going to have to come in and take a splash at some point. And...
Right, and so are you just, if you're Clindy, are you just racing Wheeler at this point? Or are you trying to save as much as possible and just come in, plug the fuel nozzle in for a second or two and leave again?
I'd say you try to save. You try to run it as long as you can. And you're holding out for the caution. If it doesn't come, you're going to have to give up and just come in for the fuel.
Yeah, and that's where we're at. He is working the lap number 39, so starting lap 40 of what we anticipate is a 50-lap tank. So Kyle Clemworth is going to be about 8 laps short. Remember, he is down a lap, so that's a lap he doesn't have to run. Craig Forsyth now has the closest battle on the track, and that's it. From the roll bar of Craig, he's looking out. He's looking out toward Frank Wynn, and this would be for a podium. And George, you're more than welcome, by the way. Craig's not really trying any different offset lines, is he, Ryan?
No, just playing it by the book.
I wonder, if we were to go to Forsyth Gaming on YouTube, and that's Craig's channel, and we will always try to shout out the drivers that have the streams because they do a tremendous service too, and it's amazing how much you can pick up. But if you've ever watched Craig's stream, Ryan, you ever notice how when he gets into a battle, he starts leaning his head to the left?
Yes. I think I mentioned it before, where he's trying to will the car around the corner.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, I'm wondering. I don't have his stream up. I don't want to steal the resources from this, but I would be interested to know if he's got the lean going all the way over as he works up on Frank Wynn, right up to the gearbox, and here he goes down to the inside.
Yep, pass complete, and he has clear track ahead.
He most certainly does, and you juxtapose the view he just had with the one he's got now. The next car up the road is Josh Ward, and that's almost 2 seconds away. Now, Craig is running significantly faster than Ward. He is a little bit faster than Alex Miller. He's not going to have time at this rate to get to Miller, but he can most certainly get to Josh Ward.
Yeah, it's definitely, if you're Josh Ward, it's something that you have to be aware of and stay on your toes all the way up to lap 140.
Yeah, you do, because if we had the Jaws music, we'd cue it up. That object in the mirror right there, that's Craig Forsyth, and it is getting closer. Last time through, Forsyth 22.426, Ward 22.668. Ward went through there 7:40 that time. Forsyth identical time, so he's gaining 0.3 of a second a lap. He's got it to within a second and a half. I would anticipate Craig Forsyth is going to be on this gearbox right here in about 5 to 6 laps.
Yeah, about so. And over the radio, Clinworth is calling it. He's coming in.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. Clindy, he's going to have to bring it to pit road, and we'll see if he gets tires, because that's going to dictate whether basically where he finishes. He does not go up on the jacks. You see, Andrew Surwack was also short, and so Surwack is going to come out as well. Clindy is going to go a second lap down, but he really only lost the one spot there.
Yeah, in terms of damage control, pretty good effort. Like, one spot is honestly a godsend compared to what could have happened earlier today.
Yeah, 100% for certain. We'll go back to this battle. The developing battle between Craig Forsyth and Josh Ward, because now we're on the nose of Craig Forsyth, and Josh Ward's getting closer. He's getting closer indeed. Meanwhile, just to mention the Sim Gaming Expo, if George wants to put the dates of that guy in the chat, that is something that I'm planning on going to, Ryan, because it'll be in Chicago, I believe, and that's going to be a ton of fun to see a lot of friends for certain, sure. So if George wants to throw that in there and plug his deal, that would be tremendous. I'd be happy to mention it on the air because I'm planning on being there. We're watching Craig Forsyth. He chopped another 0.3 of a second out that time, Ryan.
Yeah, he just needs to keep his head down, keep pushing, because second is right there if he can take it.
Yeah, now Alex Miller did turn up the wick. He was the fastest car on the racetrack that last time by, but Forsyth is most definitely the second fastest car on the track. Josh Ward has got some traffic ahead of him, and he's just got by Mason Mitchum, so I think Mitchum might have been holding him up a little bit. The Sim Gaming Expo, by the way, is at the Schaumburg Convention Center, September 5th through the 7th, 2025. So if you want to come by and make fun of me in the Chicago burbs and say hello to a lot of other people that you may know, hit George up. That's going to be a cool deal. Again, September 5th through 7th at the Schaumburg Convention Center. Forsyth going to work it to the inside of Mason Mitchum. There goes Craig, and so that little event with the lapper, though, that slowed him up just a little bit. Ward held serve the last time by. Is Craig going to be able to do it? He's now a second back, 1.1 seconds with 4 to go, coming to get 3 to go.
Ooh, I think it might be a bridge too far. I think there's not enough time left.
Well, and he might have hurt the tires in the pursuit because 5300s or 53,000s, excuse me, slower the last time for Craig Forsyth. So he may have gone too hard, too quick, hurt the tires a little bit. Although he's got it under a second now, maybe he gained another 10th. It's not going to be enough unless Ward makes a mistake here, I don't think.
Yeah, it's definitely a case of hoping he makes a mistake, but you have to keep the pressure. You have to try to force something, be there just in case.
100%. Meanwhile, this man right here has the white flag in hand. He's going to come back around and grab the checker. Nobody in the same zip code. Alex Miller dominant here tonight at Milwaukee. He'll pull it off at turn number 4. He will not get any closer to Lith Fox. Celebratory weave, checkered flag in the air. Alex Miller is going to win the race today here at Milwaukee. Ward going to come by second, and Craig Forsyth is going to grab third. Whew, that was quick.
Can't believe we made it. 140 laps, no cautions.
58 minutes on the race tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and that is got to be some kind of P1 broadcasting record for a reasonable distance league race. The fixed races, the oval races, are quicker than this, but those are usually 1/3 distance. This was a little bit. This was about half distance, is what these cars run here. So great work by all the drivers here. You see Alex Miller has it. On. Has it in victory lane. And we are going to get the results up here. So it's going to be Alex Miller. He's going to bring it home with the lead from bring it home with a win. Josh Ward second. Craig Forsyth, the old pro. He's going to have the bottom step of the podium. So great work from Craig. Frank Wynn is going to be fourth. Hugo Gallows. How about Hugo? He's going to bring it home fifth. Matt Wagner in sixth. Lith Fox does squeak it home in seventh. The last car on the lead lap. That's how dominant Alex Miller was tonight. Nate Fields in eighth, the pole sitter and early leader. Gary Lover ninth, and Andrew Surwack had to make that late pit stop for gas. He's going to bring it home in 10th. In 11th, Kyle Clinworth, nice rebound drive after the early trouble. Nick Wheeler 12th, Mason Mitchum 13th, Walter Macias 14th, Sheridan Wade 15th, Jeff Heisong, Eric Peterson, Brian Greenlee, all retired from the event. Matthias Marcamini and Isaac Morales are credited with 19th and 20th, but they did not take the start. All right, Ryan, we got some drivers in the waiting area, do we?
Yeah, they're all ready.
They're all ready. They're all down there. Let's go ahead and grab Craig Forsyth. Craig, you were running him down there at the end. Did you run out of tires? You run out of time, or did you run out of time? You run out of tires? You run into traffic? Kind of walk us through the chase for the middle step there.
Yeah, no, I knew Josh had pitted early the first stint. I think he was pitted on like lap 45, and I knew he needed to do 2 47s and a 46. So I knew he needed to do some magic on I think he did 48 on the second, and he had to do 48 again on the final stint. So I was like figuring if as long as I try and push him, maybe I can run him out of fuel, but I was too far back. It took, by the time I'd started to catch up to him, I think there were only like 5 laps left. And I mean, those guys, Alex, good Lord, he did 50 laps on a stint. That's just impressive. So, and he was still fast, hyper fast at the front. So, no, both these guys, even Frank was fast as well. I just, the fuel strategy I ran on early meant that I could push a little harder at the end, and I got to use that to get by Frank, but it was put me too far back to get up to Josh. But my God, we did 140 green flag laps. I'm impressed as hell.
Yeah, the race time tonight over the road was 58 minutes. So that was incredible from you guys. Definitely appreciate that. Ryan, what pearls of wisdom do you have for second place finisher Craig Forsyth this evening?
You took the words out of my mouth earlier. I was really impressed with you, Craig, with your drive at the end there. I really thought you had a chance at second there. It just didn't fall your way.
No, I was pushing the tires hard. I think the second stint was my best stint. I came in and the tires were still at 89 and 82, and I was just setting fast lap leading up to the pit cycle there. And I wasn't as fast on the third stint till towards the end when the car got light on fuel again. But no, that was a great race. Good on the lap traffic. I think on the second cycle, Sheridan came out behind me. Or I came out and Sheridan was behind me on like 10 lap old tires. So his tires were up to temperature, but he was a couple laps down, and I'm good on him. He held off and gave me a couple laps to get my tires up to temperature so that I could take off and try and chase down the front guys again. So yeah, no, the lap traffic was great tonight for me. I hope it was great for everyone else, but I'm going to assume since it was a green flag run the entire way, it was a courteous drive all around.
Yeah, there was really only one bit of contact, and that was Clinworth and Wheeler, and that really wasn't anything other than just high line, low line merge at the corner exit.
Which happens here. That's the danger spot, right?
Yeah, that's it. So, congratulations. You get yet another podium this week. That's what, 2 or 3 thus far for you.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Well, you were what?
I won't remember.
You were on the what are you talking about? You were on the podium with me last night.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then how'd you do Monday in ISRA?
Oh wait, I think I was in 4th. No, I finished 5th.
Okay. So
that's right. I hit the wall and coming out of turn 4.
A 5th and a pair of 3rds ain't too bad for 3 days.
No, it isn't. It isn't. It's a good. Anytime you could walk away and go, your week has been filled with top 5s. That's a happy week.
Right. And not only that, you and I didn't land on top of each other this week. So that's even better.
A rare treat.
Yeah, that's right. With that said, friends, family, sponsors, anybody you'd like shout out to, Craig, the floor is yours, my man.
No, I got to thank Jim at 4D Racewear, the whole crew over there, sponsors for most of the IndyCar leagues that we run in. So whether he's a full sponsor or car sponsor or throwing prizes out, he's a great guy. buy some gloves, buy some boots. We'll see everyone at the Sim Racing Expo in a couple months.
100%, Craig. Thank you so much for your time. Keep going fast, having fun, my friend, and we will see you. Boy, you gonna do the RL tomorrow? Did they have a race tomorrow? I can't remember.
I believe we do have a race, and everyone thought it was Dover, and it's not Dover. So I need to go find out what track we're actually racing at, so I can make sure I'm fast at it.
Yeah, you don't want to be like Michael Waltrip in that commercial and show up at the wrong track. That would be
no. It would be terrible.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Craig, for your time. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
No, thanks, Mark. Thanks, Ryan. You guys stay safe.
Yes, sir. That's Craig Forsyth. He's going to run third tonight. We're going to go ahead and bring up second place finisher Josh Ward. Josh, you've got Mark and Ryan Eric King in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, you had an eventful day. There were a couple of times that you got rather close to Alex in terms of strategy and tires and whatever else, but you couldn't seem to quite get close enough to make a move. And then about the time you got established behind him, it seemed like he just drove away. Kind of tell us what you thought you could have done different to get past him. He was awfully quick.
Yeah, probably not run the full first run, full throttle, map 1. Because second run, I had to kind of keep it map 2 or 3. Still a little short. Came out after the second pit stop. And the whole last run, I was in map 5, just saving. So kind of messed up with the fuel strategy. Did not expect it to go green just with this track, but it did. Fastest car, the best strategy, definitely won the race. Congrats to him. It was good to see. I'm sure the broadcast was not the most entertaining, but it was a lot of fun to let a race play out organically and actually be able to race it.
Now, to be fair, Ryan and I didn't have to break out the cards and start playing solitaire or gin rummy, so it wasn't that bad. But no, I mean it's always good to see one go like this. It's good to have that. It's good to have that for the league when you don't have guys being involved in stuff, and so it makes Shane's job easy for certain. Sure, Ryan, what do you have for Josh this evening?
Well, I think a question that is going to crop up when we ask the winner, and I think is really more important to you, Josh. What was your idea for pit strategy heading into today? Because it seemed like everyone was going for a two-stopper, but when exactly to pit differed from driver to driver?
My strategy was pick map 1, floor it, and wait for the 15 cautions that were going to happen, and that didn't happen. So I think that's kind of, I don't want to say it's what lost me the race, because 49 obviously was very, very fast, but it took my chance of being able to get up there and battle with him away for sure.
Yeah, well, still, when you've got a guy that dominant, it can be, a race for the best of the rest, and you certainly proved to be that tonight, Josh. You take a bite out of Clindy's point lead, which is substantial. You and Alex, Alex and Craig, all do that, so it makes the championship that much tighter. With that said, congratulations on a fine run. Friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs. The floor is yours, sir.
Hey, man, just appreciate you guys putting on the broadcast and Horizon putting on the league. It was a lot of fun. It seemed like there was a lot of respect. I heard a couple things in the Discord that people got tangled up a little bit, but overall, just a good group of guys to run with, and just glad to be here.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you, buddy. Keep going fast, having fun, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. That is second place finisher Josh Ward. We're going to go ahead and bring up the man of the hour, Alex Miller. Mark and Ryan in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy, sir?
I do. Hello.
I'll tell you what, that TMR machine was awfully fast. You grabbed the lead from Nate Fields early, and you never looked back, man. I don't think you were ever headed other than pit stops. Tell us how you made it so easy.
Honestly, I don't really know what I managed to do in this race so much differently than every other race I've ever done at Milwaukee. I guess just like a bit through the race, it kind of started clicking. Like, I think really about like 20, 30 laps to go in that first stint, something started clicking with how my line was going. Maybe it was just because it went so green, I got into like a bit of a rhythm and was just like, okay, I think I can win this race. And then I overtook Nate. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he just killed his tires compared to me, but I got around him after a bit of work because it's Milwaukee and it's hard to pass here. And then I kind of just didn't look back. Like at that point, I was just like, it wasn't too bad of a fuel save in this race, so you could kind of push pretty well and still make it in 2 stops pretty easily. So that's just what I did.
Gotcha. Ryan, what say you for tonight's winner?
Oh, I would ask the important question. I think we realized it pretty early on. Alex, when did you realize that you had the win in hand and you just had to bring it home?
I never like to think that with me because I do have a tendency to absolutely bottle an easy win in iRacing. So honestly, until I 5 to go, I wasn't even thinking that. I was just like, don't spin off the corner, don't get tight into the wall, don't do anything stupid. And that's just what was going through my head at that point. Just be patient, get around the lappers whenever I can, and just keep going.
Yeah, well,
understandable.
Yeah, you kept going right to victory lane. So with that in mind, you win the race. You get the floor, my man. Friends, family, sponsors, shout outs, anybody you want to talk to or about. As long as it's not about my haircut, the floor is yours.
Well, thankfully for you, I've never seen your haircut, so I don't really have anything to comment on that. But as always, thank you, Taylor Mills, for inviting me to Taylor Mills Racing and all the peeps at Taylor Mills Racing. Oh, Hayes in that server. I know you see her around on the Top Split broadcasts all the time. Lilac Zier. A lot of people have helped me just really click with this car finally after all these years. And yeah, shout out to Matt and everyone at this broadcast team for putting on the broadcast and the league. Shout out Shane for being great race control as always. I know he said we made his job pretty easy tonight anyways, but shout out to him for kind of, going from being a driver to being like, yeah, I'll be race control instead. And yeah, that's, I think, about it.
Yeah, that's the awesome thing about this community. It's everybody helping. It's everybody helping everybody else out when they need it, and we definitely appreciate that. And so, Alex, congratulations. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy. We'll see you next week, or 2 weeks.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll be in the booth again.
Hopefully so. That's going to be Alex Miller. He's going to be the winner tonight. And Ryan, my goodness, that was some kind of race that he put on, some kind of victory. Congratulations to Alex. But what a strong field in general to get to 140 laps at a place as tight as Milwaukee without any sort of incidents.
Yeah, I'm a bit in shock still because I didn't expect to be going home this early, but here we are.
Yeah, here we are. If you cannot get enough of IndyCars on iRacing, you can switch on over to the sister broadcast and get Gary Godso and Stephen Markamp. They're doing the Formula Indy Series tonight, and so they have their stream going. They start about half an hour after us, and so if you wanted to see road course action, run to Formula One rules, but with IR18s, give that a shot. That's a really awesome series. Get some big names and some big guns in there. They're at the Saxon Ring tonight, which is a track that most Americans don't really get to be all that familiar with. So,
yeah, I'm familiar with it more as Marc Marquez land.
Yeah, that's a track that's more well known to motorcycle enthusiasts. But it is a fine car track as well. Speaking of fine car tracks, the next time we will be on air in the Horizon IndyCar Series, that's going to be 2 weeks' time. That's going to be in 2 weeks' time. We're going to be going to Twin Ring Motegi, which is one of my personal favorites, Ryan. And so I actually would kind of like to race that one, but you know how that is. Tomorrow night, I will be back in the booth with Sam Crow. That's 8:20 p.m. We're gonna go live for the Black Magic Studios American Motorsports Association Grand National Series. They're going to be at Phoenix. We're going to have the Votive IndyCar Series Sunday night, 7:50 at Iowa. That's going to be Gary Godso on the call with LGN, and then we're going to have the Sim Motion ISRA Series Chicagoland on Monday night, 9:30. We will be off Wednesday, and then we'll bring it right back with the stock cars on Thursday. Just remember, everybody, Monday night starts week 13, so there will be no Monday night or Tuesday night Top Split broadcast this week. The officials have the week off. That's going to be a nice break, isn't it, Ryan? We don't have to do any testing this week.
Oh, yeah. No officials, also no league. It is going to be a weird feeling.
Yeah, it is. Most leagues also take week 13 off due to the software updates. Things get kind of glitchy, so a lot of leagues will take week 13 off as well. But we do want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. If you didn't already do it, make sure you smash that like button, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel. Our drive for 1,000 continues. We were at 815. I haven't checked it, but I would suspect it is more. We'd also like to thank all of the first responders, the police, the fire, the EMTs, all of the people that do all of the hard work at night so that we can lay our heads on the pillows in safety. We do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Shout out to my wife who arrived home to a 3-child riot led by their father. In my defense, I was left unsupervised, and we will see you tomorrow night.